Their security is the person who made the money, okay? Because I could lose everything, but I wouldn't be worried because, okay, let's go make some more. This isn't gonna do this. And I could do it in a million different ways, right?
Tom, welcome to the show.
Thanks, brother.
The Responsible Podcast.
What's the name of it again? Tell me. What kind of podcast?
The Responsible Podcast.
Nice. I like that name.
Thanks, man. So the first question for you is, Tom, who is Tom? Like, for the audience, who is Tom?
Well, it depends on who you ask, if you're my wife or my friends or whatever. But I'll just give you a general overview. So I'm a very successful business person. I love business. I love the business of business. I've been a business person since I was, my first company I started when I was 25 years old. I'm 67 now. I've been working every day since I was a little kid, right? And so yeah, I just, I've built a number of very successful companies. I mean, these are things that are important to me. I have friends all over the world. I'm very philanthropic. I support my church a lot, and I do church-related items all over Earth. I travel a lot. I have some of the most amazing vacations in the world. I mean, like just mind-blowing vacations. I have a very incredible life. I have 3 locations I kind of hang out in the world. I have here in Italy, I have a most amazing home here that we just built, like a old-time villa, but it's brand new and it's just absolutely amazing. And then I have an incredible penthouse in a place called Clearwater, Florida. And then I also stay up in the United Kingdom, where I'm going to be going back tomorrow. So
great.
And yeah,
that's good.
So I grew up in America. I grew up in a city called Las Vegas, Nevada, which is known as Sin City. You know, it was a very weird place for a kid to grow up in because it's got a lot of drugs, a lot of gambling, a lot of prostitution, a lot of like very not cool things that, that a young kid needs to be exposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had really great parents. My parents were really super cool. My dad was a really honest man, a very good people. When I lived in a neighborhood of a bunch of kids and everybody wanted to hang out at my house because my parents were cool, right? And they're very loving, very kind. And so we had a pool in our backyard, and, during the summer months, it'd be 2:00 in the morning. It'd still be like 35 degrees outside, and we'd be swimming and playing in the pool, and they'd still let us do that. And we had a lot of fun, but I came from a good Catholic family background. I went through the public school system. I did not get an education. I had a very big drug problem when I was a kid. And, but yeah, that's where I grew up at, and that's where I come from. Well, I got a good work ethic. I don't know how that came about. My dad made me work. I did, we always worked at the house. You had to, help do dishes, take care of the place. I was the only remaining boy I come from a family of 6 kids, but my other brothers and sisters were older. So when I was in my teens, I was the only boy around, and I don't know if I was his son or his slave. Not really sure which one it was, but he worked my ass big time. He, not like in a mean way, don't get me wrong, but he made me work, and so I got good work ethics. I learned a lot of different things from my father. But he instilled to me a sense of righteousness, good ethics. So that was like he was a great role model, right? He didn't have a lot of the answers to life, but he definitely, what he did have, he did use. And so I would say, if I had to look back, one of the things that to be successful in anything, you got to show up, right? You got to you got to be there, man. You got to just be there. So like when I got my first company, I'd get there around 6:00 in the morning, and I would just start working, man. I was the only one. It was Me, myself, and I had 3 employees, me, myself, and I. And I did everything. I did all the selling. I did, in the afternoon, I would go around, driving around Los Angeles, California. That's where I was living at the time. I would, collect all the supplies that I sold during the day, box them up. I had to teach myself how to type. I had to, create the invoices. I had to figure out how UPS worked. I had to figure all these things out, right? I had to figure them out. But I just kept showing up, and I would work till I work a 12-hour day. Around 6:30 in the afternoon, early evening, I'd stop, grab some food. I'd go to night school, and till about 10 o'clock at night. I'd go home, fall asleep, get up, and do it again. And I think one of the best skills that I developed is, and I keep it to this day, I don't let a week go by without completing every cycle of action. I make sure whatever I have happening, I make sure like by Sunday, and it's true to this day, I don't have any unanswered emails, no texts that have gone unanswered. I clean out my email. You know how you can scroll up and down, you have the, what do they call it? The, what's that bar that goes up and down? I know there's a name for it, but huh?
In email?
Like when you look in Outlook and you go through there and there's a bar that goes up and down and it can get really...
like unread.
Yeah, you get all the unread ones. I make sure everything is unread, and I really work hard to now some of them is hard to answer and they continue into the next week or something like that. But I really make sure all my work is done. So when I was in a 25, I would make sure before I went to, I lived in Southern California, and I'm a single white male, and I dig the chicks, right? And these beaches were like loaded with girls, right? And all my friends were out at the beach. On Saturday morning, I'm back in the office. I'm working. And if I got done by 4 o'clock, I could go play with my friends. If I didn't, I didn't. I would stay there and I would just keep working. I would get the work done. On Sunday, same thing. If I was not done, I would go back to the office and get done. And only then would I go to the beach and I go play with my friends and chase the girls, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
I'll tell you something happened to me when I was 22 years old. I got arrested for selling drugs, and I was in jail, and there was a very high possibility I was going to go to prison. And because I really got caught with a big drug bust, and I was screwed, right? And when you get in a situation like that, you start making promises. I'm making promises to my dead dad, to Jesus, to God, to Moses, to like you find it, Buddha, anybody I could think with. I would pray to these guys. I had promised them on my heart that if I got out of this mess, I would do something good with my life. And I did get out of that mess. And I did make a decision that I would never get into this situation again. And I did. I just worked my way out of it. I had nothing. I had no money. And I had to create a life for myself. And so I did.
And how did you get out of that situation?
The law?
Yeah. What? Sorry, the law?
You mean like the legal situation?
Yeah.
When I was in prison, when I was in jail, I was watching these guys. You know how people have different personalities, and you probably see someone act one way in one situation, and you put them into another environment and they act a different way. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching these guys, and here they are in jail, and they're screwed, man. They're screwed, okay? And they're going to go to prison. And I saw them start to get this tough guy attitude, I could see them just change their attitudes and change their persona. They changed their personality. They were getting tough. They're getting mean and getting nasty. And I'm like, wow, I was blown away by this, right? And I made a decision that I am not them. I'm not those guys. I'm not a druggie. I'm not these kind of problematic people. I'm not going to prison. I'm not going to have this happen. And I had my mom, she helped me get bailed out of jail. You know, that was horrible. But my mom bailed me out of jail. And then I got off of the hard drugs. I had a really hard time getting off of pot. I loved my pot, right? And but I got off of all the hard drugs. And then eventually I got off of all drugs, including pot. And I cleaned my act up. I changed. I stopped being a criminal. I stopped being a druggie. I stopped, being these things. And
Yeah.
when it was time to go see the judge, it took about 3 years to go see the judge. And I had all these letters from my priest, from my family, from all these important people of how I turned a new leaf. So he gave me a chance. He said, look, okay, I'm going to put you on probation. Get out of here. You screw up in the next 5 years, it's over, And I went, okay, I promise I won't. And I didn't. So that's how it happened. It's the honest to God truth. It was horrible, brother. I mean, I'm sitting there in the proverbial orange jumper suit, right? And she had just my father had died a few years earlier, about 4 years earlier. And so she, about 6 months ago, had just married this new man. He was a cool guy. He was a nice guy, right? And I didn't know him very well. And here they come. I'm in jail, and you got the glass window. It's about that thick. It's like bulletproof, and you're talking on a phone, and there's my mom. There's my new stepfather. Oh, it was right. That was like a horrible time. And but you know what? She was a good Christian woman. She was a good lady. She was loving. She was my mother. I would like to say she did the right thing, and she got me out of jail. So that was tough.
If you now, like present time, you've done like millions of dollars in your business, like
Billions.
billions sorry, billions of dollars in your company. Would you say you've lived up to your promise that you made to the priest, to your mother, to your like dead father? Like,
yeah, I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to answer the question is yes, but I'm still not done. I'll just give myself a half of an acknowledgement and keep on getting it going. There's you get to like an idea of success is where it becomes self-perpetual. In other words, it's like you build a good enough team around you, you have a good enough product or service that everybody wants, and you've built a machine. And when I say machine, I'm not talking mechanical, I'm talking humans, a team of people that are working, perfectly together, and they all produce individual products, and they all support each other, and I can get removed out of that machine, and it keeps expanding, it keeps growing, keeps producing extra money and stuff like that. In this business philosophy I believe in, that's called phase 2. Phase 1, you're doing all the work yourself. You're responsible for everything, and then you bring in people, to help you, right? And then eventually you get them, what do you want to call it? Established on post. They get productive. They understand what's going on. You bring other people in like that. They work together. And what the idea is you empower people underneath you, and then they push you up, and they push you up, and they push each other up, and you push everybody up to where you get to go pop out the top, and the machine keeps working. I have a company in Florida. It's called American Power and Gas. I've got about 300 employees there. It does over about $500 million a year in revenue, makes an incredible amount of money. I get an amazing amount of it. And I haven't been there in 6 years. I go to the Christmas parties. I stop by every now and then to give a hug and a kiss to people. But as far as running the day-to-day operations, zero. Absolutely nothing.
So would you say your successful action for building a good company is a good team?
Is a good team? Is that the question? Like what's the
Yeah,
success? Well, first of all, you have to have a product that is, or a service that's scalable. If you got a service that only one person wants, you're in a world of hurt, right? But if you have a service that millions, if not billions of people could want, then you're okay with that. You got to be able to deliver it for more than what it costs you, right? So if you sell something to someone for, you give them an invoice for 100 euros or dollars, and it costs you $90 to deliver it, you're going to have a hard time, right? But if you could create something for and sell it for $100 and it only costs you, like say 60 or 65, now you have a chance to build a business around it because there's enough money left over to reinvest into the company, right? And so that's a kind of element. You have to have that, right? Then it takes teammates, employees, business partners, associates, whatever you want to call them, right? My teammates, okay? And you empower them, you hat them, you train them, you educate them, you trust them, you give them responsibilities, they earn your trust, and and then they take over a particular zone of your company, and it's like their baby, and they take care of that, and somebody takes care of this and somebody takes care of that. That is what a company is. It is, because you have, in any company, you have an executive division, you have a division where you run the company from. It's the headquarters of the office inside the office, right? It's where all the planning and strategic planning, corporate affairs, all the legal work and all the insurance and all the rules and policies and everything like that come out of. It's a very, very, very critical part of the company, right? And this is where all the senior executives work out of, the president, the vice presidents, they work out of that area of the company. This is the executive body that runs the organization, okay? Then you have a personnel department, you have a division, and it actually probably the most important division in the company because it's putting all these good people there, and it's putting all the training there, and it's helping these people become successful, making sure they're doing their job, making sure they know what they need to do. Because when you're building something and you have somebody who is not doing their job, there's only two reasons. Number one, they don't know how, and you can fix that. You can educate them, you can train them, you can get them so they can see how to job. Now, sometimes, and I don't mean this to be mean, sometimes people are just stupid, right? You've probably met stupid people in your life, and they can't learn. So those are the small percentage, right? They're not a big percentage. The second one is people don't want to. You've probably met lazy people in your life. You've probably met people that just, are like a vampire. They just suck on every other people. They just take away from you, right? So it's they don't know how or they don't want to. Either one of those we can fix, right? Well, the ones that don't want to, it's called the foot up the butt. And if they don't respond, then they get rid of them. Okay, so it's just a constant process of doing that. You have sales, you have marketing, you have to sell your product, you have to sell your service, you have to take care of the finances of your product, of your money. You have a whole financial area. You have the production area that actually produces the product or the service, whatever that might be. You have quality control, customer service, that type of thing. And that's both the quality control of your product, quality control of your people, because people need to be re-educated and make sure that they never forget how to do the job right. And then you have public relations. You got to let the world out there know that you're there and that you're special and there's something good about you, right? And all of this is what creates a company, right? And it's run by people, okay? And you have to have good people in each and every one of these areas doing their job. And in the beginning, you do all of them. And then eventually you put people there and they push you up. You don't have to do their job anymore. So that's like phase one, is you're doing all that work for all these people. And then eventually they just keep pushing you up, pushing you up, pushing you up. And now you flip the switch where they do all the work. Like my company in Florida, I probably get involved with what's going on there maybe I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours a year. Okay. And, and then I have many other companies that I'm involved in, and I'm very much in a phase one area of these companies, and I have a joy of it. I love to work. I love doing all this stuff. I get a great joy of helping people become effective, a great joy, pleasure of seeing someone develop, become more professional, because they feel secure in their job. They know how to do it, and they know that they're appreciated, and they get a chance to make more money, and they become more able to you know what it is? It's just when you know how to do something. This is true for everyone in watching this podcast. When you know how to do something, it makes you feel good. Okay. When I'm telling you something, when your life depends on whether you're going to eat or not, or your kids are going to eat or not, you're going to have a roof over your head, you're going to do all these things you want to do with life, and you're good at what you do, you feel secure. Okay. And if you know you work for good people, you feel secure. So part of my job as an executive is bring security to my people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. I have another question for you. That was that it sounds like a lot, like what a company is, also like phase one, doing all yourself. My question for you is, because you were in like American Power and Gas is for, I think it's electricity and gas, right? Yeah. How do you start that? Because you said like I did it all myself.
Okay, it's fine. I found myself without a job. And actually, this is the truth. I was working for this lady, and this was in one of my low spots of life. I'd hooked up with some bad people, and I lost everything I had. Okay, I was about 38 years old, and I'd really built this huge thing in life, right? And then I finally realized I was working with a criminal, and he stole it, right? I went, God damn it, I'm back to zero again, okay? And I bounced around for a little while. That really hurt me that time, and because I've had that happen like 3 times where I actually got this thing, I call it whoa fuck. It was a whoa fuck, right? And so anyway, I finally came out of that. I went out and figured out how to get some money, borrowed some money from a bank, and I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal about this new industry starting in America. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, zero. The only thing I knew about electricity is you flip this switch, the lights went on. If you push this button, the TV went on. That's it. That's all I knew, right?
Yeah.
But I knew how to be a salesperson. I know people needed customers. So if these people were doing this job, I know I could go get customers for them, and I can make money doing it. So that was my great business plan, and I just jumped in it with both feet, with zero money, and I made it into a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Is there, like now, present time, after you've made like billions of dollars, what's your policy on preventing that the whoa fuck still happens? Like,
it's people. No, it's people. I had it happen when I started my company at 25. I lost it at 30 because I had 2 evil son of a bitches working in my company, and I did not know how to identify them. I went into, and I lost it. I built this beautiful company. It took me 5 years of my life, 6 years of my life to build this, and I lost it in like probably 5 weeks. Okay.
oh shit.
And it was because of people. I did not understand, because let's just face it, and this is just a fact, man. There are good people in life, and there are some not so good people of life. Now, the cool thing about it is this not so good people is a small percentage, okay? But you must learn how to identify them. You must understand what they're about. There are courses that you could take that you can learn about this. And I'm telling you, it took me quite a while to actually study it well enough to learn it, okay? And because I finally did, I've been able to insulate myself from these kind of people. So if I do the hard work, I can actually keep growing and growing and growing, because these people are trying to pull you down. They're trying to stop you. They're trying to destroy you, okay? And once I figured out a way to keep them off my lines, I just kept going up. Does that answer the question?
Yeah,
Good.
and specifically about the courses. You said like you can learn in courses. Are you talking about psychology
Of
courses
course.
or?
Uh-huh.
Of course.
I've been a Scientologist since I was 25.
Uh-huh.
You know, I went through a lot of stuff in life, guys. I had a really rough growing up. I started smoking pot when I was 12, and you hang on with other people smoke pot. Next thing you know, they introduced new types of drugs. And oh my God, it just kept going on in this vicious cycle, right? Till we get into really, really hard drugs, okay? And I mean really hard drugs. Because of that, I did not get an education, all right? I was high all the time, all right? So you can't go learn in school if you're stoned out of your mind, okay? And so that drug screwed me up on getting an education. And, you know, and then it's like I lived in a very bad environment. I mean, you could have free alcohol 24 hours a day. You just had to walk into a hotel. Hey, can I have a cocktail? Sure, here you go. And it's free. Okay. And, you know, and it was like, so you had all that. It was not necessarily a good place for a very adventurous young man to grow up in. All right. Because there's a lot of vice there. So I had a lot of challenges, okay? And I totally don't remember the question that you were trying to ask here, right? Like help me get back on track. What was the idea here?
The courses.
The courses. So basically I was lost. I had all this, I couldn't, literally, guys, I could not read or write, okay? I was illiterate. Sure, I could probably, you know, write my name on a job application. I could probably write out the address of my house or something like that. But man, past that, I was illiterate. And I wanted to become a businessman. I wanted to be successful. And so my older sister, she was a Scientologist, and she said, look, I can help you. And I'm going to tell you something. She did. She helped me get off of the drugs. She helped me get the drugs out of my body. See, this is one of the problems with drugs, right? When you eat food, your body is processing this food, and then it gets rid of the waste products of it, right? Is that real to you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, right? We also know that if you bring in a drug is basically a poison, period. Alcohol, a poison, okay? Pot and all these other things, if you take too much of it, you get overloaded. They call it an overdose, and you can die, okay? And so, but what happens is you bring in pot, you smoke it, it gets into your blood, your body has to get rid of it. You smoke a lot of pot, it can't get rid of it. And will start to store it in the fatty tissues of your body. So this is what happens, like same thing when you drink too much alcohol, your body can't process it. So it starts storing it into the fatty tissues of your body, okay? And what happens, then you go 3, 4, 5 days and you haven't had any drugs or you haven't had any alcohol, you start jonesing for it. You start desiring for it. You start craving it, because what happens is your body will start drawing it out of the fatty tissues and give you a little taste of it, right? And it teases you and it makes you hungry for it. So you do this thing called the purification program, where it takes all those poisons out of your body, gets rid of it. Now you're free to operate again. So I did that. That was incredible, man. It changed the direction of my life. All right. And then I just started going to night school. I went to the Scientology Center and I started taking courses on, there's courses there on how to learn. I never learned how to learn. I went to school for 12 years, but they never taught me how do you learn. So I went and learned this course on how do you learn. You know, it's a funny thing. Everyone that's probably watching this video has been taught how to speak, They've learned how to speak English words. Or what country you're in? You're in Germany? English, German, Dutch, Italian, Polish. I don't give a shit what language it is. You're talking. But no one has ever been taught how to be in communication. So there's a big difference between the two. Just because you got rah, 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 sound coming out of your mouth doesn't mean that you're in communication. You have to understand what it means to have you say something and get someone else to understand what you said and duplicate it and understand it. Now, that doesn't mean they agreed with it, but they got what you're thinking in your mind and they duplicated what you're thinking. It doesn't mean they're in agreement, but they get it. I'm telling you something, that skill to be able to understand that will actually make the difference between success and failure in life. If you're down here and sucking in life, if you do not learn these communication skills, you will not succeed. I'm just fucking, you won't do it, man. You won't. Because you can't get others to see your point of view, okay? And so there's courses like that that help you learn, because basically life is lived with people. And to live life, you have to interact with them. You have to, well, just that, interact with them. And people are funny things. You know, I have my aspects, you have your aspects. Everybody watching this video has their aspects, right? And you need to learn, how can you work with all these different types of people? How can you be in communication with them? How can you work with them? Which ones don't you want to work with? Which ones don't you want for friends? These are key. This is just the key. You see, there's all this skills that you can learn on, and this is what Scientology has done for me, is help me learn these skills so I can be more successful in life and have a fuller life. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, it answers it. Another question about Scientology specifically. What is it? Because what we can see on the internet, it's like you hear all sorts of things. Like it's a religion, it's a cult, it's a organization, it's a business, it's a whatever. What is it? Because if it's a religion, how come you do courses? How does that work? And if also, I heard you can be a Scientologist and another religion, like for example, Christian or Muslim.
Okay.
Like, how does that work? Like,
okay, good. First of all, let me try to answer. That's a lot of questions you just asked me, right? But it's okay, cool. First of all, I grew up in a Catholic family. You know, I did the whole First Communion. I was an altar boy. I went to church every week. I went to catechism on weekends and at nights. And I was the normal Catholic white kid growing up in America, okay? And so now I'm a Scientologist. But I'm going to tell you something. Catholic is a religion, okay? And it is a Christian religion. And Christianity means being Christ-like, okay? It means like, be like Jesus, if you will, right? That is exactly what being a Christian is. And you've got the Baptists, the Methodists, the Presbyterians, there's just the Church of England, and I got like just this endless long list of churches that are Christian, all right? Now, when I found Scientology, what I did is I found solutions about myself, okay? How can I make myself be better? Meaning, every one of you guys like watching this thing here, guys or girls, you do things that you know you shouldn't do. You don't do things that you know you should do. These are problems. These are what cause problems in your life. You got people doing things to you you don't want done. You got people you wish they would do things with you they don't do. This is this thing called life. What would you like to know if you could find the solutions to those things? and especially about the ones that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. How do you stop it? How it's because it's reactive. It's like stimulus response. It's like, you know, you're like acting like a goddamn dog, okay? And how do you make sure you're doing the things you should do? So this is the point what I want to try to make here. By me becoming a Scientologist, and I've been doing it for 45 years, I've become the best Christian that I could ever become because I'm being more Christ-like. Do you understand that? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, so you say, so basically, Scientology is simply knowing how to know.
Yeah.
It's a study of knowledge. Okay. You say, why is it a religion? Because we believe, okay, well, I got taught when I was a Catholic, you have a spirit, and if you live a really good life, when you die, the spirit goes to this place called heaven or the other place, all right? All right? That's just the way the rules were. You either went to heaven or you went to hell, all right? Forever, okay? In Scientology, what I found out, you don't have a spirit. You are a spirit. You have a body, you have a mind. Now, your mind is not like your brain. Your brain is a brain. Your brain is part of the central nervous system of your body. And if you, there's just, guys, there's so much data that I could go over on this thing, but you start to learn about the parts of man. You learn like how people operate. You learn how to be a better father. You learn how to be, if you're a female, a better wife, a better girlfriend, a better mother, okay? You learn how to interact with people like, because basically what Scientology is trying to do is help you with your spirituality. How do you live a more spiritual life? How do you, because this is the part that makes a person sad. We want to be happy in life. We want to be successful. We want to be productive. We want to be wealthy. We want to be beautiful. We want to be healthy. We want all the good things in life. What's stopping you? You? Nobody else. You're stopping you. Okay? Well, why would the hell you do that? Great question. You need some data because the answers are there. You can go into the Scientology organization and watch a video on the thing called Dianetics. This is the very first book Mr. Hubbard wrote a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And you could just watch a video on that. Hell, you can watch it online for that matter. You don't even have to go anywhere. And you can see what happens. What is the mind composed of? How does it work? And what is the negative part about it? What's the positive about it? And how you can actually take the power away from the negative part of the mind and return that power to the positive side of the mind. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you something, brother. I'm a living example, Lucas, of how that worked. I was a piece of shit when I was 18 years old, 20 years old. I was like heavy druggy, snorting coke, doing all these hard drugs, smoking cocaine, just like seeing people shooting up in my house, people ODing. I mean, I lived in a drug environment. I was a POS, piece of shit. And I was criminal minded. I was like up. I didn't like myself. I saw myself dying and I was only a kid, okay? But I said, no, I want something better for myself. And it has to come from within. And I found the answers in Scientology of how to reach within and get those things, make them better, make myself stronger, make myself do, or how, not make, but get the ability to do things that I know I should do, and they help me flourish in life and help me stop doing things that I know I shouldn't do. Well, I was doing them anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so you just, and it's just like you're up, you got the positive here and the negative here, and then eventually you just go, it's not some quick pill you take. It's not some magic formula you drink. It's not like going to pray to some star somewhere. It's nothing mystical or anything like that. It's like, okay, here's who you are. And so you say, like the courses, these courses teach you about these elements of life. And I still do them to this day. To this day, I still listen to tapes, I read books, and I get educated. You know, I'm becoming an educated spiritual being. And by using that, I become powerful because I can hold myself when life is coming at me, and I have a better chance of surviving, because that's really what you're trying to do, is you want to survive. Okay, so how do you do that? And I'm telling you something, guys, I don't know other answers out there. I really just, honest to God, I've looked, I've read other things, I've seen other practices, I've looked at a lot of different things out there. And it comes right down to it is the only answers are going to be found within yourself. And what I found is Scientology asked the right questions. So when I go look inside, I went, oh, all right, well, that's a interesting thing. I don't know that, you know what, here's the problem. That's a lot of thick shit right there. That's a lot of heavy whatever, right? You know, but it still doesn't make it less true, okay? Because it's like, I have not seen anyone, met anyone. Now, you know, first of all, remember I said earlier in the podcast, there's just some real evil bastards out in the world. Taking them aside, right? And you get us normal people, we want to do good in life. We want to be happy. We want other people to be happy. We want to make people happy. We want people to see smile. We want to be able to do nice things. We want to feel admired. We want people to think highly of us, right? We all want that, okay? Well, how the hell do you go get that? And this is what you can find on these courses. Now, here's the point. It's just like if you read it, you go, hey, go into Scientology and look at the roadmap of how you can go have a more successful life. Okay, you still have to drive the distance. You still have to do the work. You still have to make it happen. But you go listen there, you go, to get from point A to point B, this is what it takes. You read it, you go, you know, that makes sense. That's why people become Scientologists. They read the data and they go, you know, that makes sense, right? Just like hopefully when you're listening to me, you go, that makes sense, right? Like you are the cause of your life, right? And then you start using it and you start going, you know, hate to admit this, but it worked, okay? Now, what else has he got? And you just keep doing it and you keep doing it and you find out he had more stuff that worked and you grow the quality of your life. And here I am today, guys. I'm living the dream, man. I'm living the dream. I got more money to spend than I would know what to do with, and I give it away in charities. I go around the world. I fly in private jets. I live in beautiful homes. I have incredible clothes. I got a closet that would like choke a horse. You know, it's just like it. I get to have all the materialistic thing. But here's what's important, guys. Unfortunately, in this world that we live, when people start getting a lot of money, they get mistaken to think that's their security. It's not true. Their security is the person who made the money, okay? Because I could lose everything, and I promise you I'd be pissed off, right? But I wouldn't be worried because, okay, let's go make some more. This isn't gonna do this. And I could do it in a million different ways, right? So, does it make sense?
Yeah, but that's because you know the data. That's like what you said. Because you can make it again. Is it because you have the data?
I know how organizations work, and I learned that from Mr. Hubbard. He was a believe, because he's not like, you know, when you go like, well, religion's about God. Okay, who said that? Right? I mean, back in the other eras of life, you know, they used to worship forests and trees and gods and all types of weird shit, right? You know, like who says there's, you know, who says it has to be that way? What about if you had a religion that says, why don't you take care of yourself first, then take care of your family next, and then take care of your business right, and then take care of the people around you, take care of your neighborhood, take care of the people of the world, take care of living, right? Like what if you had something that actually says, look, you are a spiritual being and you can have heaven on earth. Why do you have to wait till you're dead? Why? Why can't you be happy now? Why can't you have what you want now? Okay, that's really great, but now how do I go do that? Well, let's take a look at that. Here's how you do that. And I've been talking about it. These are the things that you can learn, and it doesn't take forever to do either. Okay, I mean, guys, I was that POS when I was like 22, 23 years old, and only a couple decades later, I'm a completely different person. Okay, and I was up. I was a wreck. Okay, and if you could take that piece of shit kid and actually, now I'm not illiterate, I'm super literate. Okay, my vocabulary is very large. Now I can't still write worth of shit, but I can type, I can dictate, I can get people to, I can audio record messages and people type it for me. I can type, I can do many, many things. I've learned how to spell. I swear a lot still, but whatever. I learned proper grammar. Okay, so I like a lot of things I've learned in life because I keep studying. So that allows me to have a more fulfilled life.
Okay, then I have two questions for you.
Okay.
One is, what advice would you give to people hearing this and thinking like, hey, I don't believe it. Like, how would you advise them?
I don't want you to believe it. First of all, you know what, guys? You have your own right to believe anything the you want to believe, all right? But if you really want to get something better for yourself, I'm saying this is an opportunity to do something that you could do that. So just check it out. I mean, like, put your negative bullshit ass away to a little while, because some people could be, come on, let's just put it right. There are some people out there that are just pricks, okay? Now, if you just want to be a prick about it, go yourself, okay? I don't give a shit. You can just stay out there for the rest of your life and just be a miserable bastard, okay? I don't care, all right? Yeah, I do. But, you're doing it to yourself, so don't come cry to me, right? But as someone in watching this goes, I wonder, maybe he's telling the truth. I don't know. I've heard this, I've heard that. I don't know. Don't believe me. Check it out yourself. You can go online. I'll tell you something. You can go on the internet right now, and there's a course called I think it's called The Ups and Downs in Life. I forget what it's called, right? It's something like that, okay? And you can go to the Scientology.org, and you can go listen to you can get the course. It's free, and you can read the data on it. And if that's not true to you, then it. Just delete the internet. I'm serious, or the website. Delete the website, right? Because it just talks about, remember I said about these nasty people? Okay? Just go read that. And if that's not real for you, then this isn't for you, okay? Yeah. Ciao, we'll see you somewhere else on the planet, right? Just, but just go check it out for yourself. Don't ask, hey, what do you think? Oh, hey, since when are you going to go to the internet and find anything worth a shit? That's one of the most negative places on the face of this earth, right? So if you want to go find out for yourself. You don't have to go in, you can go online. You can there's probably about 25 free courses that you could go do, right? And some of them teach you how to study, they teach you about finance, they teach you about business, they teach you about a lot of things. It's free, and they have people who, if you want, they can help coach you on it. It's free. You can take tests to see if you understood it. They'll grade it for free, okay? And if it's something that's real to you, great. If it's not, whatever, man. You didn't believe in it when you started. You're not going to believe in it now. Who cares, right? At least you looked. You didn't ask what they thought. Get your own shit together and find out your own opinion. That's the key thing.
Like all the courses. Like, what's another
you lost
part?
Me. There's all these courses. What?
From Scientology, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what's another part of Scientology most people don't see? Like, for example, our
fun
audience.
We have, the shit that we do. Yeah, I mean, we have a blast together. I'm going to go up to England and go to one of the biggest parties of the year. I mean, it's in a place called St. Hill, East Grinstead, and it's we're going to have like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Scientologists show up there, and we're going to have the biggest party in the world. It's so much fun. We have a lot of fun. And you know, and even in my own life with my own friends, and then most of them are Scientologists, not all of them. I have friends that are Jewish. I have friends that are very devout Christians. I have friends that are very devout Muslims. You know, not all my friends are not like Scientologists. I got them all over the area, right? They're black, they're white, they're women, they're men, kids, people, right?
Yeah.
But when we church members get together, we kill it. We have some of the best entertainment. We have a party once a year here in Italy that is just like incredible. We do stuff that you can't imagine how much fun it is and like how spectacular it is. It's just like, what? We're doing what? Wow, that is so cool.
Like what? Could you give an example?
Okay, so we were having a party a couple years ago in Florence, about an hour from my house here. And we have about 150 of us come together. We're doing a fundraiser to build new churches for our religion, right? And we're going to come to 3 days and have fun in Florence, okay? So for the first time in the history of the world, we got permission, and there's a place in there, it's called the Academy. And this is where Michelangelo put all his cool shit, right? And you ever heard of the statue of David? Have you ever heard of this? Okay.
Yeah.
Big, tall fucking statue of this dude, right? And we walk in there, we're all like tuxedoed out, our women's are looking pimp, you know, everybody's pimp, right? And we go into this place, we all show up, we get picked up from the hotel, we're in these big, huge carriages, pulled by two horses. Everybody's looking like, we look like royalty, right? And we're going through the streets of Florence. Everybody's taking pictures. We're like movie stars, man, like kings and queens. It was amazing, right? So we get to the Academy, right? And we come inside there and we're like, oh my God, it is like the most, I've never been before, right? So I'm blown the away on how amazing this place is. And all the art and everything like that. So we're in there and we're hanging out, having cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and getting entertainment, little like jugglers and, you know, cool shit like that. They go, okay, time to go to the dinner room. Dude, we went into this room and they had a table, had to be, I don't know, I mean, it fit 150 people. It was just two big long tables. It was huge. I mean, it was huge. I mean, like probably 40, 50 people on each side of the table, right? And it was lit like snow white linen, camera operas, the china, the silverware, the glasses, the flower arrangements. Like you would have to be in a palace to see something set up like that. And I'm sitting at the table like this, right at the end, I swear to God, 15 feet away from me is the statue David. I'm sitting there like going, I wanna pinch myself. So we're having this dinner, we're having amazing food, great wines, and all of a sudden these incredible ballerinas come out and play. I don't know if this is real to you, there's a guy here in Italy, he's really super famous, Andrea Puccelli, right? Yeah, and he comes out and he sings a couple songs for us. And we're like, wow, what, really? And he's standing right below the David with the ballerinas around him, singing his heart out. There's the statue there, and we're in this amazing place. It blows your mind. And I can tell you about 4 or 5 of these places like that. Well, I've been to 13 of them in the last, 13 years. We do them once a year. And every one of them was like, dude, you rock my world. How did you get permission to go do this? Never once has anyone been able to do it. Not once, no, ever, you know? And it's like stuff like that. That's so much fun, you know? And we just really crush it. So, and then like myself, I get to go have vacations like that with my family. I take friends with me and we go all over the world, rent big, huge boats and yachts and go do just like amazing things because I work really hard. I'm very successful and I give most of my money to charity to help make it a better world. But I get to go live in a first-class cabin. I live a very luxurious life. My whole life is like that because I learned how to produce. I learned how to keep my hands clean. I learned, and I don't mean sanitized, I mean keep myself not breaking the laws and not have to worry about things. I learned how to be an honest man, be a good man. And I'll tell you, it's not, you would think that's natural. It's not. We have a lot of things in our talking to us like, hey, you know, this is a lot of fun over there. And you look over there and go, oh, that does look like a lot of fun. Well, you know, how do you resist yourself from doing that? Because that'll shit will get you in trouble, right? Does that communicate?
Yeah. This is also Scientology, right? Like
What?
what you said, like the inner voice talking.
You know, it's you talking to yourself, by the way, right? You know, this is your mind giving you like, hey, what about if we, what about, okay? So yeah, that's what that is.
I have another question about the parties, because you said you have these giant celebrations. What are you celebrating? Is it like?
No, I told you, no, we're celebrating being dedicated church members. We're celebrating trying to help build new parishes around the world for our religion, you know, trying to help fund, you know, like we raise money for charity. We're literally doing a fundraiser for charity. That's what we're doing.
In Scientology, you have all this data, right? And it doesn't have to necessarily be true, like only if it's true for you, of course, because I think that's the first principle of Scientology. How does it come that not all Scientologists are at your level? Is it because they don't apply it?
No, not everybody's equal. I mean, you know, you could go to the gym and do the same exercises I could go do, and our bodies will develop differently. And this is a fact, okay?
Yeah.
Some people have bodies that respond really easily to exercise, and there's some people that cannot put on weight if their life depended on it, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's some people just look at a donut and gain 5 pounds, okay? And there's some people that were born like athletics, okay? And they're just genetics, and there's different types of, you know, I said you are a spiritual being, and some people have more spirituality about them, okay? That's like, some people come out there and some people are hungrier than others, right? And you know, some people are lazier than others, right? It doesn't, just because you're a church member or a Scientologist doesn't make you perfect. It just makes you where you have a chance to, you know, move towards perfection. That's all that is, right? You know, because there's no guarantee you're going to make it other than yourself. So some people don't have the drive. They'd rather sit down and watch Netflix. I don't know, man. I'm not that guy, so I can't answer that question, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And now, like, you're a dedicated Scientologist. You've donated millions of dollars, and right now, do you like aiming for perfection? What you said, like being a Scientologist, aiming for perfection with the day. Do you think you're perfect now? Like,
no.
After no.
No way. There is no such as like. See, I'm not trying to be a saint. Being a Scientologist is not trying to be. We don't. This is part of our who and what we are. We're not trying to make perfect people. We're trying to make effective people. We want people who can actually do well in life. We want people who can get things done. We want guys who are honest and ethical. We want people that are productive. You know, we like, and guys, that's no matter what you're doing. If you're going to be a mom, please be the best mom in the world. Raise these kids. They're like, man, I was at an event. What is today? Tuesday? I was at one Sunday, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I felt this tug on my sleeve, right? And I turn around and I look like this. I don't see anything. I go, that's weird. And I look down. There's this little squirt, probably 3 years old. He came up there and went like this to me. This kid had the biggest nerve I've ever met, ever, of a kid that age. And I'm like looking at him, he's so alive. And I just went to myself like, wow, your mom does such a good job to let you become this amazing kid that you've become, right? And I went and found the mother and I told her, I says, look, whatever you've been doing, please never stop, because you've just, look at this beautiful child you let blossom. Because he's got to be a terror at home. This kid, the dad is not in charge, his kid's in charge, but he's a devil. But it's like, but he was so absolutely amazing. He was kind, and he was like 3, you know? So like there's a mom, she's being most competent, she's being more helpful, you know, she can help the husband become successful in life, and she could just do her duties. And this it's, you know, she could just be the beautiful woman that all women are, right? So and then and it's whatever it is that you want to do in life, whatever that is. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a businessman, you want to be a plumber. I don't care. Just be the best one and help people along the way. That's the only thing that is it's our mantra, you know, just be the best that you can be. Okay?
Yeah.
And be good.
One more last question for you, and then I'll leave you to your precious time. You've said that you're like through Scientology became a better man, like be more ethical, be like keep your hands clean. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you have trouble applying the data right now? Like
it gets easier as time goes on. I mean, you know, it's as you move up in the levels of training and spiritual enhancement, it gets easier and easier. You see, the smarter you get, the more you understand about life. You understand what higher levels of right and wrong are, right? You become more responsible. So you grow. As you grow spiritually, you grow intellectually, you grow ethically, okay? And you know, so it's I'm you know what? I can't believe there's ever an end to getting up to where we should be, okay? I mean, it's like there's always more that we could do, right? And this world needs a lot of good people in it that can actually lead, right? And if you've got kids your age, I mean, this is what they need. They need you guys. This world needs you. They need you to get the off that drug shit, because it will you up. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I gotta imagine it's the same thing what you guys have when I was a kid, right? They say, hey, Lucas, let's go get up. Okay, let's just get what that means. You have this mind, you have this thing that you think with that helps run your life. Let's go get up. Let's go our mind up. Think about it. How about this one? Hey man, let's go get stoned. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's become like a rock, okay? Like a rock. You see what I'm saying? And please understand something. I am not criticizing you, right? Because I smoked enough pot in my life that I could build a house out of, all right? My point in making is it dumbs you down. It takes away your desire to succeed. It will hold you down. It's a fact. Have you ever seen an alcoholic? They're up. You see a pothead, you know, he's sitting there with a joint and can't finish a joint, right? So this is the point I'm trying here, man. Get off of these pot, because it is, I got the fun that it could be. I totally got it. But I promise you something, living a successful life, living into your fullest dreams and your ambitions. I mean, getting high, getting up, getting stoned, getting drunk way too much, blah, 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 will not help you. I promise, I don't give a what anyone else has to say. Use your own counsel, pick your own path, and I wish you luck, because I really, really want someone to pass the baton to. I'm trying to build a successful world, and I needed someone to turn it over to. And I need you to be one of those people that I do that with.